The galaxy was a realm of constant unrest, where empires rose and fell as quickly as stars ignited and died. For centuries, the Zolar Dominion, a fearsome and relentless alien empire, had expanded its reach, bringing planet after planet under its control. They operated under a strict, ruthless hierarchy, crushing any form of resistance without hesitation. No race had challenged them, not truly, until the humans arrived on the galactic scene. Humanity was a young race, known to be diplomatic, clever, and strangely cautious. They possessed technology that was effective but not intimidating, and they kept to themselves, focusing on building alliances and trading knowledge with other species. To the galaxy, humanity seemed disarmingly transparent, like an open book with few secrets. But in truth, they had a powerful defense hidden behind their peaceful facade. Humanity's history had forged them in wars they rarely spoke of, wars that left scars across their history and boundless depths of wisdom in their hearts. The humans had learned long ago the art of appearing unthreatening. And so, they watched and waited, their true power held back, concealed from the galaxy by layers of diplomacy and caution. But it was only a matter of time before one empire grew too curious, too greedy. The Zolar Dominion made the first mistake. Supreme Commander Zorzal of the Zolar Dominion had heard whispers of human colonies and their resource-rich planets. Despite humanity's preference for peace, Zorzal saw their neutrality as a weakness, ripe for exploitation. Convinced of humanity's inferiority, Zorzal made his move, beginning with a series of border incursions near human space. Initially, they were only small skirmishes, minor probes sent to test the limits of human patience. One of these skirmishes involved a small mining colony on the planet Corvus 9. The Zolar Strike Team, a handful of well-armed scouts, had orders to assess the colony's defenses and gather intel. However, upon arrival, they were met not by defenseless miners but by a well-coordinated militia armed with weapons and tactics that the Zolars found surprisingly effective. The scouts barely escaped to report back, bringing with them stories of strange combat techniques and unusual defensive measures that confused Zolar analysts. This was not the meek, unprepared humanity they had expected. Commander Zorzal, infuriated by the resistance, dismissed the incident as a fluke. He decided it was time for a show of power, something that would put humanity in their place. The first direct assault on humanity came at Gamma Proxima, a larger colony with a population of 2 million and a defense fleet of a few dozen ships. Zorzal himself led the strike, eager to personally oversee the crushing of humanity's spirit. He deployed a formidable armada, expecting the human defenders to surrender upon seeing the sheer scale of his fleet. But as the Zolar forces closed in, they found Gamma Proxima surrounded by a vast network of mines, traps, and decoy beacons that confused and scattered their ships. What was meant to be a simple show of force became a chaotic battle. Each time the Zolar fleet moved to regroup, small, fast-moving human ships darted in to pick them off, exploiting gaps in their formation with precision strikes. The human fleet was led by Captain Scott Morris, a seasoned commander known for his mastery of unconventional tactics. As the skirmish intensified, Captain Morris sent an encrypted message to Zorzal's flagship. "This is Captain Scott Morris of the United Earth Coalition. Humanity does not seek war, but we will defend ourselves." Zorzal laughed, dismissing Morris' message as bravado. He doubled down, pushing his fleet forward in a brutal frontal assault. But the humans had anticipated his response. Just as Zorzal's forces breached Gamma Proxima's atmosphere, the colony's main cannon, a massive laser array hidden within a mountain range, opened fire, decimating several Zolar cruisers in one fell swoop. The remaining ships were forced into retreat, limping back to Zolar space, and Zorzal returned to his command center in a cold fury. The Dominion's analysts were alarmed. They analyzed every scrap of data from Gamma Proxima, finding strange patterns in human defenses and formations, as if they had been carefully choreographed to counter Zolar tactics. But when pressed, Zorzal refused to consider the possibility of humans being a true threat. He saw their successes as luck and chance, nothing more. Still, he ordered an even larger assault, determined to bring humanity to its knees. The next major target was New Horizon, a lush colony world known for its technological advancements and strategic location. This time, Zorzal was ready. He commanded an elite Zola squadron, fully outfitted with energy shields, advanced drones, and the most deadly weapons the Dominion had to offer. When Zorzal's fleet entered the system, they were met with silence. Human ships were absent, and the planet's orbital defenses seemed disorganized, almost weak. Zorzal smirked, sensing victory within his grasp. He ordered his forces to advance, prepared to unleash his full might upon the colony below. Then, as if on cue, the traps activated. Hidden platforms disguised as inactive satellites sprang to life, releasing waves of electromagnetic pulses that disrupted the Zola ship's shields and targeting systems. Human fighters emerged from hidden asteroid bases, engaging the Zola forces in a hit-and-run assault that disoriented the larger, slower ships. Zorzal's forces took heavy losses. Meanwhile, on Earth, the United Earth Coalition's council convened to discuss the Zola threat. It was here that General Daniel Holt, one of the coalition's oldest and most respected leaders, addressed the council. "We cannot continue hiding our full strength forever," he argued. "These attacks will not stop. If we do not act decisively, the Zolas will keep coming, and one day, we might not be able to defend our colonies." Others argued for continued restraint, fearing that revealing their full military capability would draw even more aggressive empires into conflict. But General Holt was persuasive, and soon a consensus was reached. Humanity would prepare a show of strength so overwhelming that the Zolas, and the entire galaxy, would have no choice but to reconsider their assessment of Earth. Supreme Commander Zorzal, humiliated by his repeated failures, ordered a final, all-out assault. This time, he set his sights on Earth itself, convinced that breaking humanity's home world would end the resistance once and for all. Zorzal's fleet, the largest in the history of the Dominion, set course for Earth, determined to crush the humans underfoot. As the Zola Armada neared the Sol system, humanity revealed its hidden strength. Hundreds of cloaked human ships, larger and more heavily armed than anything the Zolas had encountered, emerged from the asteroid belt. They formed a barrier between Earth and the invading Armada, a line of steel and fire standing resolute in the face of the Zola threat. At the head of the fleet was the Intrepid, humanity's flagship, commanded by Admiral Marcus Kane, a man known for his unyielding resolve. Kane opened a channel to Zorzal's flagship, his voice calm yet menacing. "Commander Zorzal," Kane began, "this is your final warning. Retreat, or face annihilation." Zorzal sneered, giving the order to fire. The Zola ships unleashed a torrent of plasma bolts and ion cannons, intending to obliterate the human fleet. But the humans had upgraded their shields to an extraordinary level, absorbing the blasts with minimal damage. As the Zola forces scrambled to adjust, the Intrepid fired a concentrated energy beam, slicing through Zorzal's outermost ships as though they were paper. The rest of the human fleet engaged with frightening precision, their weapons calibrated to target Zola shield generators and engine cores. The Dominion's mighty armada began to crumble. Zorzal's rage turned to desperation. His forces were being decimated, their ships reduced to wreckage as the human fleet advanced. The humans had somehow anticipated every maneuver, every contingency, as if they were reading his mind. Zorzal's bravado evaporated as he realized he had walked into a carefully laid trap. With his flagship surrounded, Zorzal received one final message from Admiral Kane. "You underestimated humanity, and now your empire will pay the price. This war could have been avoided, but you chose to provoke us. Now, you'll witness the true power of Earth." Realizing that surrender was his only option, Zorzal sent a message back, his voice breaking with fear. "Please, mercy. I offer my surrender." But Kane's response was cold. "You gave us no mercy when you invaded our worlds. You showed no compassion to our people. Now, we're giving you what you asked for, total war." With a final command, Kane ordered the Intrepid to fire. A massive energy beam erupted from the flagship, consuming Zorzal's ship in a fiery explosion visible across the battlefield. The Zola Dominion's forces, leaderless and broken, attempted to flee, but humanity's fleet pursued, dismantling the remnants with ruthless efficiency. The fall of Supreme Commander Zorzal sent shockwaves across the galaxy. The Zola Dominion, once feared and revered, crumbled under the weight of their defeat. Without Zorzal's leadership, and with their forces decimated, the Dominion's territories fell into disarray. Their once mighty empire fractured into isolated factions, each scrambling for survival in a galaxy that had lost respect for their once feared name. News of humanity's overwhelming victory spread rapidly, transforming the galaxy's perception of Earth. The meek, diplomatic humans had revealed themselves as a force to be reckoned with, a civilization that held back not out of weakness, but out of restraint. In the days that followed, humanity returned to its diplomatic posture, rebuilding and re-establishing alliances, as if the war with the Zola Dominion had been nothing more than a brief, necessary demonstration. But the galaxy would not forget what they had seen. And from that day forward, humanity became known not as a race of peacekeepers but as silent guardians, watching from the shadows, ready to unleash the fury of Earth upon any who threatened them. As Admiral Kane gazed out over the wreckage of Zorzal's fleet, he allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction before turning back to his crew. "Stand down, everyone," he ordered, his voice carrying both pride and sorrow. "The galaxy knows now. We won't need to prove ourselves again." With that, the human fleet returned home, its people resolved to maintain peace, but forever prepared to defend it.